Thanks, John. Thank you, John. Thank you, Daryl. Thank you, David. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, everybody. It's marvellous standing here seeing the people who've been behind me. I've got a much better idea of things now. My grandfather had a habit of praising my father lavishly and then saying, "But I think it must be conceded, Robert, that I speak entirely without bias." Well, I get that from my grandfather. If I sound a bit over the top, that's the problem. When I first met Nick Cater, we talked, and he has the advantage of not coming from Australia, where he was brought up in a family that was either convinced that Menzies was the devil incarnate or a saint. There was none of that. He was unbiased, he really was. But he did say to me, "I want to make Menzies cool again." Well, I can only say he's done that, absolutely. It is wonderful. There is never a week without the name Menzies appearing in the newspapers, on radio, in people just talking. He has come back again, and not in a biased way at all, but with balance. He's talked about his ideas, what he did, he's talked about with real balance, I think. And after the years we went through when he was so heavily criticised, for me at least, and all our family, it is an enormous relief. This book is, I think, I haven't read it, I have to admit. I did get a copy on Friday, but I've just done a bit of a skim. But every essay is a serious subject. And for one thing, it's not bad to have 14 different aspects of one man. I think that's well done. But I'm not sure that it mentions the things that the family would think of, like his sense of humour. And anyone who was around when he was here would be aware of his sense of humour, on public occasions or in private, whenever it might be. In fact, well, some of you will know that when I first met Mrs. Marcos, when Peter and I were living in the Philippines, and when she discovered who my father was, her first words were, "Ah, that sense of humour." Now, I thought that was marvellous. That was the one thing she picked out. But there was that, but it was also the fact that he was a great listener. He listened to people. Walking in the street, somebody would come up to him and say, "Mr. Menzies, you're doing a very good job, but there's just one thing," and then go on about the one thing. But he would stop and he would listen. And we had a neighbour who was a migrant from Europe, and he was working in a garden, and he said one day a big black car pulled up, and out got a large man who came across to me and said, "Tell me, how long have you been here? Did you have any trouble getting a job?" And had a little chat. Then went back and got into his car with the number plate C1. And he said, "I could not believe I had come to a country where the Prime Minister would come and walk over and have a little chat to me." But that's why he knew what people thought. And that's why he was successful as a Prime Minister. He knew people. People knew him. And weren't we lucky that they voted for him? Anyway, congratulations. Thank you. It's a great contribution to Australia and to Australian history. And I'm delighted to be here today. Thanks.